Okay, Richard, 5 days on the Sussex Downs at Goodwood, a proper mid-season highlight, and I know this is a fixture that the Hannons have had plenty of success at for so many years. You've been champion trainer there as well, so it's a meeting, as I said, where you do tend to send some of your best horses. And one of them, who's a proper flag bearer for the yard, is Chindit, and going to take his chance in the Sussex.
Yeah, I was very pleased with his run in the Lockinge. I thought that was a super run. And there was a bit of rain a couple of days before the Queen Anne, which didn't help him. He's not nearly as good when there's any rain at all. If it's quick ground, he is in the form of his life, I think. And he's been sold like a couple of weeks ago to Dr. Poonawalla, and he's very keen to go to the Sussex. He's won his 3 Group 2s, so it'd be nice to go up a step. He's hard as nails. He's loads of ability. I'm certain one of these will fall his way. And I think he has an excellent chance. He'll probably be a 10-to-1 shot, but he's a very good horse on his day on very quick ground, and I think he has a great chance.
And that's the thing, if you do look close enough at his form, he has got the ability to win a big one. It is just a case of when.
Yeah, you could argue he's been weighed and measured at that level several times. It's not that he's come up short. He's gone very close on occasions. He's been second in a few, and he's consistent. I don't know what's going to turn up this year. It's obviously not going to cut up. The race is worth a lot of money, but he's certainly entitled to be there, and he commands a lot of respect.
And do you feel a track like that may just suit him, because even though he's getting older, he's still got quite a good turn of foot, so the sharp track will.
Yeah, we might ride him a bit handier, or if he hits the gate and he's drawn well. You can do anything on him, really. He's very malleable. You can ride him however you want.
Okay, now you've got a strong team of 2-year-old colts, fillies, and 3-year-olds as well. We'll just start off with the 3-year-old fillies. A filly called Le Mans, who was very, very impressive on her debut at Newmarket in June by Kodiak. Is she likely to turn up there next week?
Yeah, I think she needs a mile. There could be 2 races for her. There's the Thoroughbred Stakes, and obviously the Oak Tree, but we don't really have to drop her in the deep end now. She's only had 1 race. She's a lovely, tall, elegant filly. One thing she has done is, since she's run and won, she's really settled down at home, and it's kind of been the making of her. She's turning into a very nice filly. I think she could be very good. Did
you expect her to win first time out?
She's a filly that's always shown a bit of quality. She just had to learn to behave herself and grow up a bit. She was in a bit of a rush, she's a bit of a Kodiak. So we took our time with her. She's actually a half-sister to a Gimcrack winner, Lucille. So she has an extremely good pedigree, and I'm fairly sure she'll add to it at some stage, I hope, and I hope it's this year. She's going to be a lovely filly next year as well.
Okay. The Big Border, a real improving filly. She was very impressive at Ascot last time. She's off a mark of 96 now, so you're in that sort of boundary now. Do you go up to the group class, or do you carry sort of big weights and handicaps?
Yeah, in fairness, she has improved all year, and I think Al Donald, who manages the King Power horses, he's keen to continue with handicaps, and she is. She won with a fair bit in hand last week, and it's very rare that 3-year-olds win those sprint handicaps when they're 3-year-olds and up, and that they're fillies. So it was very impressive, and the way she's on the upgrade, I think she'll stay in handicaps for a little longer, and she might well end up, certainly going black type sprinting.
So have you got something in mind for her?
Well, she's not in the Stewards Cup, but there are other handicaps there, and Newmarket towards the back end of the summer. And York as well. There's plenty of races, but she doesn't need anything in between her races. She keeps herself fit just by the routine canters. So yeah, there's loads of options with her, but we're in no rush.
I mean, when she won at Ascot last time, must have been a bit of a surprise to certainly those that didn't back her, because she was a 25-to-1 shot. But did you get there quite confident that she'd go well?
Well, we were planning to hold her up for a bit, and she obviously hit the gate. I was a little keen. She actually never looked like getting beaten. So it was a bit of a surprise, certainly in the manner in which she did it. But we were delighted, and her last 3-4 runs have all been consistent and honest runs. So not a total surprise, but a surprise in the manner in which she did it.
Okay, Mama's Girl, and of course she started off her campaign in great form. It's not perhaps gone quite as well as you may
No,
have planned. But what's the target for her now?
I don't think she gets the mile at the moment, and she's very relaxed. So I think she will do it at some stage. But we went back to 6, and she looks like she wants 7. And I think that's where we'll stay for a bit. We're looking at races in America. There's obviously the Oak Tree as well, and other black tide races. She's won a Group 3, so she's kind of done her job, but we'd like to add to it.
Okay, let's take a look at a couple of the 3-year-olds. Now, we've spoken on numerous occasions about Classic. I mean, impeccably well bred. Obviously, the only offspring out of Date with Destiny by George Washington. So a strong family there. And he got the job done nicely at Sandown last time, which I suppose rewarded your patience, because you'd always maintained that he's a horse with plenty of ability. He's up to 91 now. Do you think he could be better than that?
I've always said that every time he runs, he looks like he's going to win, and kind of doesn't finish his race like you think he's going to. There's been a couple of kind of hard luck stories, but he always looked like he was going to win at Sandown. And I always said that when he wins one, he could go on and get a sequence. And it wouldn't surprise me. He's got a lot of ability. He's a funny fish mentally. You know, he wears the hood at home, and he travels very strong. I think he's in the Golden Mile, and if they go very quick, that might suit him, and he can sit off the pace and travel well, and he could run a big race. He certainly has the ability. It's whether things go his way, that's all.
And as you said, once he sort of got his head in front, it's almost like he sort of thinks, "Oh right, this is what I've got to do." Yeah.
You know, and he finished his race very well at Sandown, and it was no surprise. You know, we've always thought he had the ability, and Julie stuck with him, and it's nice to see her rewarded. And he could have a big one in him. He certainly should be backed each way in a big handicap.
Okay, and similar story for Dark 30 off the same mark as well.
Yeah, Dark 30, I think 7 is kind of where he wants to be. His last run at Newmarket, a little bit short, and then he's staying on. And he had to do the donkey work and make the running. But he's another one. He's sound, he's consistent, tries his best most of the time. And, you know, he's on your side, so which makes him a popular horse.
Hattem, great run in the Superlative last time, off to Goodwood.
Beaten by a very good horse. I'm not sure he would have loved that soft ground there that day. He's going to the Vintage Stakes, and he's a tough, strong, reliable horse with a lot of ability. We were beaten by a better one on Saturday at Newmarket. It's not going to be an easy race, but he's every right to take his chance and have a good chance.
I mean, the horse that won it, City of Troy, is now favourite for the Guineas and the Derby with Unibet. I know it's obviously a difficult question for trainers to perhaps answer, but do you believe that he will continue progressing as a 3-year-old next year, or do you feel that his best days will be as a juvenile?
No, unfortunately, I saw him in the paddock, and he looked a gorgeous horse, and one that'll probably get better as he gets older. Strong.
This is Hattem I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant Hayden's.
No, you haven't got to talk about Hayden's horse.
Okay, you can do that yourself, I'm sure. My horse, yeah, he's another one for next year. He's a big horse. Some people might look at him and say he shouldn't be a 2-year-old with how big he is, but he's a lovely, big, strong, sound horse. And he beat the others fairly convincingly. A Group 2 is probably not a bad shout for him, but if you have to come down a level, so be it. But we all want to run in there, and he's good enough.
And the colt who wasn't that far behind Hattem in the Superlative was Sun, the son of Two Darn Heart.
Yeah.
Could be a classy horse.
Yes, he could. He looks to me like he wants further. And he's a little bit of a shell of what he's going to be at the moment. And we put him in the Champagne Stakes towards the end of the year. And he's another one, a lot of ability, and probably will get better as he gets older.
Okay, Baheer, I suppose something of an enigma for you, really. He's been gelded. You thought he'd win his first run. He got beat by 150 to 1 shot. Yeah. Then went to Ascot, got pulled out at the start.
Yeah.
And then bolted up at Newbury after that.
We had to cut him, Brett. He was a hooligan, and he was winning over us. So we gelded him. That settled him down for a bit. And then he started getting upset in the stalls. It wasn't the fact he got beat first time. He couldn't even beat the third convincingly. And the things he had done at home working here was unreal. So, yeah, I was very disappointed when he got beaten. And then he went to Ascot, obviously went up in the gates, got withdrawn. Then he went to Newbury and bolted up. And I half think after Newbury, he might have gone very close at Royal Ascot. He's going to go to the Molecombe. He's very quick. He's quirky horse, but he's got talent like I haven't seen here for a while. And he's very fast. And if he passed the test in the Molecombe, we might take on a few big ones. He can't run a lot of the 2-year-old Group 1s, you see, because he's a gelding. So you've got Abbes and you've got Nunthorpes and Flying Childers. This is all if he passes his next test. Yeah. But going to the races with him, anything can happen.
And you've obviously said he was a bit of a bull and he was like a bull in a china shop, so you obviously got him guarded. How difficult a decision would that have been for you and the owners? Because obviously...
Oh, we had to do
it. A lot of it is about the breeding, and sometimes you've got to put up with it.
We had to do it. Otherwise, we would have gone nowhere. He was misbehaving, and for a horse, really, as soon as he came in, to want to behave like that wasn't really normal, and to, do the things he was doing. And he didn't get warm. He wasn't frightened of anything. He just thought he'd just been Jack the Lad, and that had to be stopped. Or else we get nowhere with him. Anyway, now he's a gelding. He's probably going to be here till he's about 44.
You'll outlive us all. Okay, Packard. He's sort of, I think he's threatening someone a big one.
He might well go to the 7 furlong nursery. A nice horse with a lovely attitude. He's handicapped pretty fairly, and he will have chances in a lot of those big nurseries throughout late summer.
And then you've got Weston.
Weston is a very nice horse. Now, he had problems just with his shins. We had to go steady with him. He's a very big, quite heavy horse. He's coming back now. Today's going to be his first day cantering, actually, and we're working back from the Goffs Million. So we'd like to get at least one run into him before then, and I think we're on target for that. He's back now. He's moving great, and the form of that race at Ascot's turned out very well. So he's one to look forward to. He could be a very nice horse.
Okay, so that's Western. What about New King's Road?
New King's Road, right. So he was working lovely till he went to Lingfield, and he ran awful. You saw him work this morning. He worked very well. So I'm going to probably enter him at Goodwood, but try and find something small for him where he can go and do the job. Way better than he showed first time, and he'll probably be any price you like when he runs next time because of what he showed or didn't show first time. He's got his act together now. We'll go to a flat track. Lingfield is a little bit running downhill. He didn't go, I didn't like it at all. And so go and try and find something small, and hopefully he can win. He's a nice colt to look forward to, way better than he showed first time.
And a nice son of New Bay, a Persica. I know he's been showing you plenty.
He's a lovely horse. He was when we bought him. Ross bought him at Doncaster for Martin Hughes. And he was a beautiful mover then. He used to get a little bit excited, a little bit warm in the mornings. He's grown out of that now. He worked super this morning. And hopefully we're going to go to the 7 furlong race at Goodwood, the maiden. I think there's 60 or 50 grand maidens this year. So it'll take a nice horse to win one of them. But he's a very nice horse to look forward to, and he probably will get a mile. But he's a 3-year-old, but he's all of a sudden just come to hand the last 3 weeks or so.
Okay, so Persica could be a name to keep an eye on at Goodwood next week. Looking at the 2-year-old fillies, obviously still slightly early days, but Daplin picked up some good prize money second, and she just bumped into obviously a good thing.
Yes, obviously she's been by a very good filly. I thought we'd nicked it for a bit. She's going to go to the Alice Keppel. It's a conditions race for 2-year-old fillies only at Goodwood, worth I think 75 grand. She's very quick. I knew she'd improved physically. She's much, much stronger. And I thought she could run a big race. Admittedly, I didn't think she'd go that close, but I was delighted. She's on the upgrade massively. The handicap, I think, put her up £8, so she still might be dangerous in nurseries, but ideally we'd like to have a look at the Alice Keppel or the Molecombe.
Serene Seraph, I know you fancied her to run a nice race at Doncaster, and she didn't disappoint you. She didn't win, but she ran a real encouraging race in 3rd.
The form of that race, Brett, turned out probably one of the best fillies races this year. I think she could be my best filly. She's just coming back now. She just hit a weak patch early on in the spring after that run, and I think it's done her the world of good. She looks like a colt. She's very strong, lovely filly to deal with, and she used to be a bit of a madam, but she's really matured well mentally and physically. I think she could be a very good one. I've got her in the Moigler. You know, she could go anywhere. We'll win our maiden first, and then we'll go from there. But I'd like to own her, put it that way.
So we
put it
won't...
this way, if they said you can have one horse to run for your life this year, it'd be her, and maybe Resilient.
And she won't be at Goodwood?
She won't be at Goodwood, no. She won't be ready in time, and we're going to take it very carefully with her. She's a filly for next year as well. Not that we deliberately want to avoid Goodwood, but she just wouldn't be ready. And you kind of, with a filly, have to take on the colts there. So there's not really a race for her anyway. I'm very happy to miss it and wait for some other nice races.
And Gaydon, she's a filly she's already shown she's got plenty of ability, wasn't
yeah, so she's still a maiden.
Queen Mary.
She could go to Goodwood for, I think there's a 5 and a 6 furlong maiden. So she could go for either those, or the nursery, or the Alice Keppel. There's a few opportunities, or a few possible races for her there. She's definitely going to go to one of them. And the maidens are very valuable. They might look appealing. They won't be easy, but they certainly look appealing if they're worth that money, if you win it.
And a filly that really caught our eye today was Sighter.
Sighter's a lovely filly. She's by Expert Eye. She's a bit of a puddin at the moment. She's been like that, or she looks after herself and she kind of does as little as possible. But there's a few of the guys getting off and saying that she gives them a good feel, and I've got a good few of these sort of horses that are coming good now, late summer, for the autumn. And they're the horses you want going into next year. She could be a very nice filly. She'll probably need her first one, looking at the way she looks after herself, but she's a nice filly, I think.
Okay, let's just spin through a few of your other entries for the Golden Mile. Dawn of Liberation we've seen this morning.
Dawn of Liberation, he's been a bit of a disappointment so far this season. But we've taken our chance on soft ground a couple of times and he hasn't liked it. Next time, wherever he goes, if he does go to the Golden Mile, it will be hard, but he's running for his life. He needs to show something, and he's capable of it. He's done some lovely work all year, and he's got to show it on the track now.
He's won round the track, which I suppose
yeah, exactly. But the owners, they get frustrated, and I don't blame them, because he needs to show something, because he's shown a lot of ability at points in his career, and he needs to get back to one of them.
Now, we came down here before Royal Ascot and obviously went through all your runners. I don't think even you could have predicted that your sole Royal Ascot would have been a 50-1 shot in Witch Hunter.
I was staggered. Not only when he won, the way he won. And Jamie Spencer, I mean, that ride was just perfect for that horse. He didn't hit the gate. He went over there, he came back, went back over there, then he came here, then he came on the bridle. I was like, oh, this could be placed and run maybe 5th or 6th. And every horse he passed, he seemed to fill up with air and get more and more confidence. And he actually hasn't looked back since that run. He's run good races. He's only just beaten in listed races, Group 3s. William Stovart's enjoying owning him so much, and they appreciated Royal Ascot, and that was lovely to see. You know, you do get a bit of job satisfaction in this trade when you win nice races for people like that, because it's more or less a life-changing moment, a Royal Ascot winner, and he follows him everywhere he goes, and like a family pet, and he's a lovely horse to keep and run him at any big meeting, and he has a chance.
I mean, you've got him in at
every big meeting.
Yeah. So is it likely that he'll maybe?
Yeah, he might well take his chance.
Would he even do Ascot and Goodwood?
No, I think he'll probably do just Goodwood. They give him an extra week this time.
Okay. Magical Sunset. Quick line on her.
The Magical Sunset is in some of the handicaps. She'll be in the Oak Tree as well. And I think Emma Racing have another one in that race, so I'll probably be fighting to get my filly to start there. But she would have a chance, especially back over 7. She travelled great at Sandown last time in a listed race, but that was over a mile, and just going up the hill, she just ran out of gas. The 7 would suit her big time, I think.
And obviously it wouldn't be a big handicap, and it wouldn't be a Steward's Cup without Mum's Tipple taking his chance.
If they go very quick, he sits in behind and he travels. He'd have a great chance. He ran a lovely race at Ascot. He's had a nice break since, and You know him. If it's a going day, he can win any race.
And just a quick line on Eraz, who we saw running first-time blinkers a newbie on Saturday. How did he come out of that race?
He's come out of the race fine, but he travels so well and he doesn't really finish. He's got so much ability, or looks like he does in the way he travels. I think Shadwell might well take him to Dubai at the end of the year, so I've probably got 1 or 2 chances with him at the most to win a nice race, and I've always thought there's one in him. It's disappointing to think he hasn't won one, but I think we rode him. The right way to ride him was hold him up a little bit last time, but they didn't go quick enough, and it was kind of, it didn't work out, you know, because you're trying to quicken past horses that were already quickening, which made it hard for him. But I'm hopeful we can get one before he goes off.
So would you be looking at someone like York, perhaps?
Yeah,
long straight
there's
there.
the City of York.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think he'll get a mile. There would be probably staying at 7. We've got to 7 now for a listed race and try and go that way.
Okay, just quick updates if we can. Happy Romance, how's she?
Happy Romance is in good form. A nice break since Ascot. She didn't finish her race at Ascot. She travelled great and she's getting a lovely lead in the perfect posse, but didn't finish. So she's had a nice break, and she's going to Haydock for the Sprint Cup.
And then Heredia?
So Heredia is going to go to the Dick Hearn at Haydock. She's finished second in a couple of listed races and has looked unlucky. She missed a gate when she ran in Scotland, and she ran okay the last time at Chelmsford in the Chelmer Fillies Stakes. But I'm hoping she can win one before she goes to America. Andrew Stone and Richard Brown are quite keen to try her over there, and that probably, much as I don't like to see talented fillies like that leave, I think she could be very useful out there. And you've got to be a team player and let them go, and I think it could be the making of her out there.
Just sticking with the fillies, I suppose I should ask you about Maman June. How did she come out of her race on Saturday?
Maman June, yeah, she ran well at Newbury on Saturday.
The weather looked horrendous.
Yeah, but I think she likes that ground. It wasn't that bad. She arrived there on the bridle like she was going to win, and she didn't. And I don't think there were many excuses. Handicapper dropped her to 97. That tells its own story. It's not that she's going backwards. I just think she might not be quite as good as we hoped. And she's still a nice filly, and she might well improve. But at the moment, she's found wanting. You know, they were a long way clear, the first 3 in that race on Saturday. But I was disappointed she couldn't win, but occupational hazard, I'm afraid.
And just before we let you go, obviously everyone's going to be looking at Glorious Goodwood, the Qatar Goodwood Festival, trying to find a winner from the Hannon stable. If we're going to give you a free £10 bet, who's it going to go on?
I got a very nice colt of Al Shakab's going to the 7 Furlong Maiden. He's called Stratocracy. Nice colt. He could run very well, I hope. And you've got Chindit, and you've got Baheer in the Malcolm. That's 3.
But we're giving you a tenner, though.
You need to give me 30 quid. Don't be so mean. What's the difference, 10 or 30? Give me 30 and that's it, 3 bets. And if they all win, what do I get?
Get another Unibet Gilet.
Well, can I get one that fits this time? This one's massive.